Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday to you all. This is the Big Chonis. Happy Easter to my friends celebrating Easter today. Happy Passover to my friends celebrating Passover today. It's been about a week or so since I have spoken to you live solo. So it's great to talk to you and see all my good friends in the chat. Remember, guys, hit that subscribe button and the thumbs up button, if you will. My name is Big Chonis. You guys can follow me on Twitter. I am at Big Chonis. I'm also a featured contributor on Bitcoin Live, bitcoin.live. Check the link in my description area here of YouTube to hit the link there. And if you have any interest in signing up, it's a great platform. A lot of great traders on there putting out daily content. A couple interesting tweets I put out past day or so. Listen, we are in this flagging line of resistance, middle channel acting as resistance, and our lower channel of support. Question is, do we hit $5,800 first, or do we hit the retest of about the $5,100 first? Retest the 5K, or are we prepared to basically break through? And in between both of these is our center channel line, which continues to hold. Listen, Ethereum did a golden cross several days ago. I remember we're on the daily here, so we tend to like these on the weekly, but still it's notable. Definitely not much, maybe a little lead up into it rise, but the pullback definitely gave up a lot of that. Bitcoin is still a few days away, so we're going to take a look at that as well. And just lastly here, I just want to make a point about, there's a lot of talk about this potentially being the bottom. I definitely want to discuss that, but I want to also make note of the just the length of time this pattern took to create, of the retest of the 6K area, lower highs all the way down, the break, and the fact that we basically retested the 33 to 31, the let's call it under $3,500 area, twice here before we were able to accelerate very quickly out of this move here. So although I'm very happy with this move and the bullishness of it is clear and pronounced, we kept to keep in note that it took so many times for this to break. And do we really feel comfortable with this test only 1.5 times to be the ultimate bottom here? So let's discuss, going right to the charts here. And once again, guys, thanks for hanging out with me. Quick checkout in the chat room: RJ Jamal, King Zulu, SS Swartz, Temps, Giants FC 2001, J Constant. Yeah, interesting point there about the alts. All right, so let's talk about the daily chart here, guys. We have a couple of hours left to go on our daily candle. Okay, we still have time here to put in the continuation of this higher low pattern. Now, over this move from our bottoming, from our retest, from our higher low, our higher low, our higher low. Now, this trend has been continuing here, and we can also note the differential between the previous higher low setups here. More or less, we're in a very nice consistent line, and then we just have this whoa, right, move here. So do we give ourselves deference to the feeling that maybe we can retest this area here of support and still keep our higher low, right? To keep in the constant flow of things, we could still go as low as the mid 4400s, or the mid 4000s, and still be able to maintain, this higher low pattern. But we jumped the shark, if you will. We basically jumped the shark and accelerated into this higher low pattern here. Let's just get a rundown of where we are right now. So our horizontal local resistance, let's make this guy red. Okay, we basically wicked out right at the bottom of our last green candle here back in November, from a horizontal standpoint, coinciding with this most recent area of price history where Bitcoin did find support with the first lower low in the 2018 bear market here. All right, we hit 58 back in February. And let's keep note of that 58, which was tremendous support. And at the time, let's make you red, let's make you green. At the time, induced almost 100% move here in the price action of Bitcoin, 6K to almost a hair under 12,000. So mega support, the 5,800s was here, as well as we fast forward to July, and we once again hit this $5,800 area of support and had a very nice move here in the price action of Bitcoin. That support test brought us almost a 45% move. Okay, so back to back with some time, tremendous support moves when $5,800 is touched. Then we hit it again. We hit it again in August, and we had a 25% move. Okay, and that was the last time we hit it. We're actually holding this higher low, higher low, higher low. Woof. Okay. So the reason I keep emphasizing this specific area, $5,800, is because the only thing separating us from $5,800, let's call it somewhere in this zone here, and where we currently are, is the price action located at the November action of history between $5,300 and $5,500. Now, remember, we weren't there for very long. We were there for like, what, 5, 6, 7 days, okay? But then you have to show what the situation of this rejection truly means. And what we're talking about here is if 5,800 was so much support holding, okay, then how much of a resistance is it going to be if we can get the price action of Bitcoin up there? Okay, because of the historic support, now clearly resistance. And not only was it support, but then it just blew through it. And the back test wasn't even able to get up there. It just missed it by a little bit there. So from the local high, let's basically keep it the local high to that major resistance, I feel, because of how strong the major support had been, is a 7% move up from our local top here, a little bit under $5,500. Now that is something that we have to keep in mind, because if you're going to leverage long a breakout of this area, okay, we have to keep our perceptions in mind here. The run from $4,200 almost up to $5,000, that was really possible because there was clear air, up to really higher. I mean, this thing, started to see profits taking, but the buying pressure was strong enough. Okay, so we had clear air. Just as we fell through it, we were able to rise up to that point there. Now our clear air, there we go, from just our local top is 7%. Now where we currently are, that's almost a 12% move. It's over 10%. That's good. So are we longing their supports buying here? Okay, because every dip is still getting bought up because of the chance that we can go up to this area. And who knows, maybe with the volume pushing it higher, with the little FOMO action here, this thing rips through here and gets to the bigger cluster of resistance, which is basically, up to 6K, let's call it, to as high as 61, maybe even $6,200. Okay, bringing us, to that 15% move, much more of a notable move there in the price action, and also a basically full extension from really, it was kind of basically right there when we looked out, and then that brings us another full extension, almost a 1-to-1 of this massive candle, almost massive back-to-back volume bars there, that we had buy-in, we had profit taking and buy-in on the second daily, and then both buyers in both these days were rewarded several days later with that higher high, with a much lower volume profile on the selling. And we see that volume profile on the selling very clearly in our on balance volume and how bullishly it's been moving in the price action. I mean, look at the similarity to the Bitcoin chart of this price action here, right? And then, I want to make this different color. Let's do, I think white's a good one there. There we go. And let's make it thick. There we go. Okay, very clean here. I mean, I just know that it looks just like this is Bitcoin 3150, 42, 33. Although this 33 was actually felt more like a 35 here in the OBV, and then boom, this move, the initial impulsive wave that we actually had back here in the February area, that's where you started to see that bullish divergence to the OBV begin to play out and extend to that point. So where are we now? We are back to July price history. Um, Yikes. Price history in the OBV here. And that is showing us this higher high that Bitcoin continues to be accumulated as we get higher, and now we get these little dips that are yet to break moderate to higher time frame moving average supports. Okay, we dabbled in breaking the lower time frames, but higher time frames have yet to been tested here. That's what we're going to talk about next. So those are our upper bullish target resistance areas near term. Okay, the local top 54, the extreme support turned into resistance at 58, and then the overall basically 6K break. Those are our three levels of upper, potential for that bull breakout, right? Of this consolidation pattern, right? Of this consolidation pattern. And this consolidation pattern is clear that we're not done with yet. And that's the point that I'm trying to make here, is that there's no reason for the bears, there's no reason for the bulls to capitulate in any capacity yet based on the strength of moving average support. So I'm going to bring up my two EMAs, EMA 12, EMA 26. I always have at least two because we want to look at the way they swim with each other, the way they interact with each other. Spacing too wide on the bullish side, too wide on the bearish side. When does resistance become support? When does the cross happen? When does the bearish cross happen? When does the bullish cross retest happen and confirm? And then continuation on Sue. So EMA 12 daily, we had tested it many times last week. It held. And even on this little pullback today, we're still hovering quite above it here. 5170 would be a test of that area. Intraday, not even close yet. And that's the point that we're trying to figure out here, is that we need to be cognizant of the chart continuously telling us that there's no reason to be thinking that this is going to break down just yet, because the price action has yet to give any signal of that, except for a couple red flags. I'll call them yellow flags, actually. I call them yellow flags because this is a situation here where, even though there are signs of exhaustion here, the length of consolidation, okay, with consistent resistance, the declining volume, especially most notably this week here, okay, so we start looking into patterns. What's the pattern here? Now, the first thing that kind of shows up, like, obviously, is some sort of a ascending triangle, okay, where we found consistent-ish resistance. Maybe there's one little touch here, and then boom, okay. This tends to be a bullish pattern. We've seen it play out many times, most notably this guy right here, right? That's the point. That's the thing that we have to kind of watch for. Is this that easy? Is it just, oh, we're doing this again? We're just doing this another ascending triangle again, because that's the strength of Bitcoin is right now? It's very possible. It's very possible that we're basically seeing back-to-back ascending triangles. Okay, maybe it's becoming more of a pennant, okay, which is still good looking. Okay, it's still a little early but if you want to go wick to wick, it's a very good possibility. Um, the pattern is still playing out, but our time horizon is beginning to tighten up. We're 20 days into this month here. We started the month with a tremendous candle. We're closing out our week today with another very good looking candle. And yet we're still seeing this double strength consolidation, because you have to ask yourself, okay, after 3 weeks in April and the several chances that Bitcoin has had to have a chance to close below 5K, and to be able to not do that, okay, and every little dip below it is being bought up. Okay, the 5K area apparently is very strong. We have multiple resistances, turn support, turn support, turn support. We can even dip another $300 and still test that 5K area as that strong support. Most recently, the past week here, little wicks continue to get bought up, okay? A couple nasty intraday candles actually turned out to be pretty decent as we're going on another day here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is our 6th day. We're trying to put in a day 6 here of green. Still got time to go, okay, even though we're bearishly engulfing on a higher volume here. And we're going to watch for today's close in 2 hours. 2.5 hours. Are we going to finish bearishly engulfing the previous candle? What is the length of our wick on the bottom here? And then what are our divergences showing on our RSI and other indicators here? So let's check these out. RSI, okay, it's been a clear channel, not clear channel, but a clear channel of resistance for sure, and support area. Okay, now we've done this before, right? Where we find support, a little higher high, fall down, then boom, zoom up. Okay, so until we lose our lower channel support, I'm not going to worry about the consolidation here. And because of this, yes, we can still have in mind this double target of another test here of our upper range, upper channel resistance. Okay, faux show. But when patterns become, the more obvious patterns become, the less likely they tend to continue. And I'm just like, I guess we can keep doing this. It does make sense. But the similarities between these moves, compared to what we saw in 2018, it's nothing like we had seen in 2018. 2018, we saw rips and dips, rips, dips, rips, dips, rips, dips, rips, dips, rips, dips, dip. And now what we're seeing is rip, consolidate, rip, consolidate, rip, consolidate. Very different, and follows a little more of, I mean, look at this pattern here back in 2016 here. Kind of a very interesting similar channel here, right? Where we did have the, not entirely the same, but you can clearly see a defined upper resistance, a middle area, and a lower area here. This also had, 1, 2, almost 3 here, before it basically failed on the middle channel resistance. Something to keep in mind, but it's been a while since we've had this kind of a pattern of rip consolidation. Okay, MACD here still. Now, this is interesting, where, again, the day is still a couple hours to go, but we have a lower low histogram, and we actually have a rejection spread in our MACD right here. Still, we'll see how this closes out, but this is still almost could be the earlier stages of a bearish acceleration if we begin to see this spread continue. The negative histogram cluster here has been okay because we've been very tight to our zero line. This one here is beginning to get right to where we found support the last time. So again, we're on a close edge here of the chance to see if this truly is the beginning of a more meaningful breakdown or just another opportunity, right, to buy the dip. But this is notable that we're starting to see that continuation there of more of a bearishness in the MACD, which we know is a trailing indicator. Okay, we use it for a little more of a forward projection in our head, but not necessarily on the chart. Day 63, very bullish on balanced volume oscillator. Okay, the load up and then the hold is still very impressive. We're finding support. Remember, this was our initial, well, actually, this was our initial buy up. This was really where we began to accelerate our buying. And then the fact that it's being used as support. Okay, still putting in that higher low in the daily oscillator. Okay, still looking very good here until we're not. But for now, this is very strong. Even though we are in day 63 of this here, we definitely do see times where we have been longer, but not by too much. Daily Stoke crossing bearishly. We'd actually seen yesterday, I did a quick video on Twitter. The chance of the cross was definitely apparent. It is playing out right now. It's not a game changer. And frankly, a little hiccup would be the worst thing of a more consolidation here. But it is notable because we've been basically running very hot ever since. TDI, green over red over middle BB. Nothing wrong here. Slight lower angle, but still strong. One thing of note, the Bollingers here are still very wide. Tightening can induce a bigger move. We're still so wide here. That's why consolidation ranging in this area, it might take a while. It might take a while. I wouldn't be surprised because there's no reason yet for the bears to push the bull into that sell-off. I want to go to a little higher time frame here, go to the 3-day, just for a little bit, and then we'll go to the weekly because there's a couple things I want to point out on the 3-day. Let's get into it. For starters, just way above our EMA support. Okay, I mean, we noted we were still above it on the daily. 3-day EMA 12, just so hovering so high above it. We have a primer as to a bearishness we can be, right? So far below it, so far below it. So this is not crazy in any means here, but I'm keeping note of the spread of the EMA, keeping note of the distance between the price action and the EMA as well. Okay, yay, we hit 100. All right, 100 of my closest friends here in the chat room. You guys are awesome. Remember to hit that thumbs up button if you're appreciating this Easter Sunday, Passover weekend, spring weekend. Not a bad day. Had a great chance to be out in the yard here the past few days here. Remember to hit that thumbs up button. Hit that subscribe button. Much appreciated. Guys, this is Big Chonis. You guys can find me on Twitter. Make sure to give me a follow there as well. I'm also a featured contributor to a Bitcoin Live. Checking in here on Bitcoin's 3-day, right? So back to the 3-day here. Now, a couple things of note. We hit a 9, several 3K candles. Those we're now hitting more or less an aggressive 13, combo 13 almost, in our previous candle there. So we're right at the point. I don't want to say the word, but right at the point of this is where I want to slow down. That's the point. This is so long in this move. And yes, this could be a cluster of that 1 to 4 candle, maybe a little extended consolidation before expansion pattern. That can still be a valid possibility. But we have not had a price flip in the TD since March 5th. It's been quite a while of just extended bullishness there. So that's definitely something to consider. In terms of just maybe we are in that sense too for pause. And the last thing here, this is a very bullish thing still. The Ichimoku 3-day is the highest time frame now into the cloud. Entered, opened, accelerated, well in the cloud. But note, let me hide my EMAs here. Note, Tenkan-sen, Kaijin-sen, above it as well. This cloud can dip though to the 4700s and as low as the 4300s. Okay, finding our neckline support, breakout support, and still be bullishly in the cloud here on this of highest of time frames. So, and that brings me to the weekly candle, which we close also in a few hours. Taking some support, still way under this very bearish weekly cloud. But remember, the weekly is, it's funny. It's like all bullish, little bearish. Okay. So I wouldn't look at the cloud in terms of the weekly here, but I do like the fact that Tenkan-sen was clear resistance, especially where we fell off a cliff. Now it's acting as clear support, and I'd like to see this begin to curve up and not down. We're still finding support down in the lower 4,000 range, pulling this back. Okay, again, past a 9. Okay, in a very similar pattern here. Now, if we're as bullish on the 3 days we are on the weekly, we have several more weeks of consolidation, but I don't think so. But we do notice third week in a row of declining volume with consolidation, I guess. Yes, consolidation, lower wicks. Okay, we have back-to-back tests of 5K breaks. This is the second week in a row that intra-week we have broken $5,000, right? And these have been buying opportunities. And not only that, the second week has been a higher low buying opportunity. Okay, there's nothing bearish about that yet. Bullishly engulfing last week's, now this is what's interesting. Last week's candle could have been a direction changer. Okay, it was a high wave spinning top, okay, on top of a trend here. It could have been a clear direction changer. This week was like, nope, we're not ready to change direction just yet. In the sense, we're actually kind of consolidate and show you, bears, that the bulls can hold in 5K, maintain it as they are currently. That is impressive. This is still a very bullish chart. I can't say it's not, but this is the third week outside of our upper Bollinger on the weekly chart. Okay, again, this is from a near term standpoint. This is very unprecedented since our bull run of 2017, where we rode that BB, even 2016, rode that BB up, okay, found support, middle BB, middle BB, middle BB, never lost. We never lost the middle Bollinger. Weekly close, it was so tight here. I'm not going to count that one. Really right here, basically our first up thrust. No, our second up thrust. Because remember, we had found it, broken through it, came back down. Then we had our up thrust. Okay. But still, week 2 outside of our upper Bollinger. Sorry, week 3 outside of our upper Bollinger. On our weekly chart, new paradigm. We have the uptick of our middle BB, which we like still under 4K. We have the downtick of the volatility spreading our lower Bollinger wider here. This will take time over coming weeks, no matter what Bitcoin's price action does, to begin to curve up like that. And this is going to still go higher like this. So we're looking into like freaking July before these have a chance probably to get tighter again. Very valid. Very valid. Guys, when we have big moves like this in Bitcoin's price action, here, 2-3 weeks consolidation, a bigger move, and then a pullback, we retest the line that feels comfortable. So right now our 5K area is our comfortable line, maybe a little higher, like $5,100. This is our comfortable line. This is triple weeks here, was 51 and change, has been strolling resistance, turned holding support, and that is very notable, as 5,100 is now the new what? 3,100? I don't know. But something of note there. So very strong on our weekly. But a couple entry haters are giving us a little head scratch here. We have our RSI here. Now RSI is putting in a higher high right now. Okay, RSI higher high. Price action higher high. right? With our current price action, we could be putting in a higher high in the weekly close if we do close in this area. So RSI is definitely in line with price action. Uh, and running room really to 70 if we wanted to go that. This has been quite a move here in our RSI. We've not been this high in our RSI since January of 18. Now, I remember like weeks ago, March, talking about our topped off stochastic, right? We have begun to see the little dip here. Look at that. No longer 100 to 100. Look up here, guys. We're both at 99.99, the slightest of downticks. So we are beginning to see, as we're consolidating here just fine, a little crack there. Now, listen, weekly MACD, okay, note of the spread, similar spread to where we had the resistance last time. Also note we have kind of a very mirror image histogram here, right? That's interesting. We literally did a back test, flippening here to the T here of our bearishness of early December of 2018. So we've come a full corrective move here in this pattern, and we are at the edge of breaking that to a higher high or finding that resistance and top of a mountain. Also, still running room for our leader to get closer to our zero line. And I actually would not be surprised if this begins to curve over as its angle of attack slows to be like that. And maybe we do something like this. Okay, still a very nice move here, but we slow the rate of ascent because of our consolidation in this time period here. And lastly, very bullish TDI here still on the weekly. Okay, green over upper BB, red a following. Green upper BB break, very brief the last time it happened too. Keep note of that. Very brief the last time. We're almost much longer than we are this time. BBs are tighter this time, so we might be able to give a little more deference in time to said spread. But very strong. And that's the weekly. Let's look at a monthly candle here. We got another 10 days left, right? It seems like we could hit our middle Bollinger. Actually, let me get out a log scale for just a second here. It seems like we could hit our middle Bollinger, right? 68. Just starting to curve lower, right? Kind of see this over the next couple days doing something like that. Couple days, couple months, right? Which could allow our price action to kind of consolidate, then touch it. Maybe find the resistance, maybe find the breakthrough. Let's bring that off for a second. Let's bring up some triple MA, MA 50, 100, 200. Start with our higher time frames and work our way down. Monthly MA 50, the closest we got to it, didn't touch it. 3,400 rising slowly over the next couple months. Okay, probably a very good strong bedrock area of support, but have yet to even test it. Might not even test it. Weekly here, this gets a little more interesting. We know how strong our MA 200 area of support was twice. 1, 2. Bounce harder. MA 50 is our most near-term moving average resistance. 5,400 to next week, and notably coinciding right with our local top, right? So MA 50 coincides with our current area of resistance. That's interesting. That's interesting. So we're getting areas of confluence once again in our near-term area. We're getting areas of the chance for continuation. And crap, if we break through our 50, then the MA 100 up $6,300. And that is the area of super terrific, incredible resistance. I mean, this should be like black, but that wouldn't make any sense. We'll do white. So we have confluence areas of, wow, crazy breakthrough to $6,300, hitting up against this Hulkamania brick wall of resistance. Also touching our MA 100 on the weekly chart. MA 50, local resistance, could hold, could be the can't get through here yet area. But also note the fact that when we talk about our moving averages, what do we like to see? We like to see the highest moving averages below the lowest ones. So a 50 above the 100 above the 200, or a 200 below the 100 below the 50. Right now we get a 200 below the 50 below the 100. Okay, not a bullish moving average pattern yet on the weekly chart. 3-day MA 100 resistance, 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 support. Backtest support. Wow. MA 100 support confirmed on the 3-day after being wicked out on it so many times. MA 50 moving up, but still not a bullish moving average chart here. 200 over 100 over 50? No, we want the other way around. Let's go to our daily. What is this? What is this? Well, we're still not in a bullish chart because we have MA 200 over 50 over 100, but we do have in the coming days here a daily golden cross. And I say daily golden cross because a weekly golden cross or a monthly golden cross are definitely more meaningful. But the daily is something I will not sneeze at. I will not say gesundheit to because it is notable in the sense that the bearishness and time has brought these two lovers back together. Now, even if we cross here, we have our 50 above our 200 above our 100. Still not the fanning you want. This is what we're looking for, people. Across all time frames. 50 over 100 over 200. Nothing wrong with that, right? There was our break, fan, expansion. Okay, we're on the 12-hour here. So we're up to the 12-hour chart where we have this gorgeous fan out of expansion. And the daily, we're getting there, right? We still want to get the blue one above the red one, as we're about to probably get the brown one above the red one. And my point in all this is when we have defined trends starting on lower time frames and working to higher time frames, we can reinforce our narrative of a bullish basis or a bearish basis. So, the 6-hour looks good. The 12-hour still looks good. The daily's looking better, right? But then we get to lower time frames and we're starting to see, wow, actually, in the first we came very close here to breaking this support. But we didn't. So we're still very bullish here on the 4-hour, right? Still brown over blue over red. But 1 hour here, still bullish, right? But this one is where we actually had our chance to break down. We didn't. Okay, we had our chance to break down because we did have those bear crosses on lower time frames. My point through all this is that we have to keep our things into perspective. Intraday moves like we had today are just a bare blip on a lot of the price action we're seeing. The bulls are clearly in control still because they've given no reason to basically prove otherwise. How many times did 5K be tested, okay, and not fail to clearly show that the strength is there, the money flow is there, the on-balance volume is there? Okay, the indicators, though tiring, are still strong. A little tiring, but still holding up together. And with consolidation length this long, it's our higher time frames we like to focus on. We're on a green 6 here on our TD count. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4. So 52.29 would do a price flip on that, but still, this could suggest a couple more days here of continuation. Okay, guess I'll close out with the Bollingers here. Okay, daily Bollingers took us all of April, but we're getting tighter now in our pattern. Okay, we're getting tighter in our pattern here after our major expansion from our bullish move. Bullish move, BB spread, getting tighter here. What does that tell us? A bigger move is a coming. But remember, we got tight and we stayed tight for a while. So I would not be surprised if we get tight and then begin to expand in a very tight road here. Something like that pattern tightening into the end of April before we see something a little more meaningful. Couple things I want to look at here. I tend to ramble, so just going through here, guys. Once again, 101. We're back to 100 here of my good friends watching us on the YouTube, talking about moving averages, MA50, MA100, MA200, lower time frame EMAs, EMA 12, EMA 26, looking at our Bollinger Bands. We looked at our TD counts. We looked at our Ichimoku supports. Bitcoin 24-hour vol, and this is BitMEX, okay? That lower touch here of the break of point of 1 was an inducing area of volatility. These act both ways. They can be bullish volatility. They can be bearish volatility. Still consolidating. But keep note of this, where we're getting closer to those non-volatile moments that induce a rocket ship of volatility. And these are definitely the things to keep an eye on and notable. I wanted to just briefly look at Bitcoin longs. This is Bitfinex here. Again, we're looking good. The bulls look strong, and the longs are just chilling there. If you were long in March, you're basically the same long you are in April here. Okay, we have that spike up on our big move. We've had a couple people taking positions. Not so sure. Toe in the tub, toe out of the tub. We're kind of back to toe pulling out of the tub here, but we're still holding. We're still holding this higher low, right? We're still holding a trend, but we're also holding another trend here, okay? A decline, and we are getting into a little tighter pattern here. I guess I could have used a little triangle here, but we're definitely hitting more of a closing in on our apex. That's what we're looking for, of some sort of a almost a very similar pattern. We're almost seeing it in a price action here. So longs looking for support here once again, similarly testing, but this is weaker. This is weaker than the price action is suggesting. Bitcoin shorts, they're once again testing upper channel, upper horizontal resistance, right? We've bounced off our line of volatility a couple times. Actually, no, our line of volatility was up here. Ooh, look at that. It's interesting. Boom, 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 boom. Maybe reject, down, up. But shorts look a little stronger now. Shorts look like they want to induce, they want to increase. Okay. it looks like the shorts want to increase. And at this point here, what's going to make them do that? One more pump of Bitcoin or the more bearishness of Bitcoin? They've been a little comfortable over the past several days loading into these dips because we're still holding a very tight, $100, $150 range here in Bitcoin. So keep note of that. Also, we are as close here to the ratio of longs to shorts that we've been in quite some times. Longs 24,000, shorts 22,000. We're getting close here to potentially a more notable trend change. CME futures, we're probably kind of open with a little gap down maybe because we did close at 53.25. 4-hour chart, there are two gaps. There are two gaps. This one was a gap, but it was closed. This little gap here, closed. Where are you? 53, yeah, 35.73. There's a gap in the 4-hour. There's a 1-hour gap down here, 3138. But that's a 1-hour, not a 4-hour. So the only gap in the 4-hour remains right here at $3,500. And potentially the one that opens in like an hour from now, I think. Or unless it opens now. I'm just delayed. But this opens soon, so keep an eye on that as well. All right. Just good time for one more little quick check in Bitcoin here. Listen, 4-hour chart. Okay. One, two, three, 4 hours in a row where Bitcoin could have broken down, was bought up, bought up, bought up, bought up. Okay. Finding support in a previous lower range of resistance, support, volume, very light, but good enough, right? Good enough. We close our daily in a few hours. We close our weekly in a few hours. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. 50 minutes of tremendous price action analysis here. I'll probably do an alt show later on in the week. I don't have time for doing all the alts. I'll definitely take your requests on those there. But because there's just so much talk, I can do alts for 4 hours if I wanted to because there's just that many to look at. All right, guys, follow me on Twitter. Give me a thumbs up. Follow me on Bitcoin Live. Consider becoming a member. Please check the link in my YouTube description area there for more information. And with that, this is Big Chonis. Thanking you guys. Have a great weekend. We will keep you guys posted on the week's events. I bet you there'll be a very interesting week in the price action of Bitcoin. I look forward to sharing my thoughts, dreams, and ideas with you. Until next time, Big Chonis. Peace.